And
Oh boy.
right at the bottom of the list, there he was, the priest at my church.
So you're saying you dodged a bullet?
I did, and I went and I showed my mom, and I was like, "Mom, right there. Aren't you glad I wasn't an altar boy?" And she got mad at me. She got mad at me.
Why?
She's like, you keep showing me this, and you're really upsetting me because now my faith is shaken, and I don't know what to believe. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, your faith is shaken. I almost got molested, but your faith is shaken.
Yeah. Yes.
And she's like, "Oh, you
Exactly.
wouldn't have been molested." I'm like, "Well, rude. First off, I was an 8.5 when I was a kid. I was very molestable. But also, I don't give a fuck about your faith if I almost got touched. So I dodged a bullet. Amen." Maybe he got a little too cozy with some of these birds.
Only explanation I have in where a Fiat Uno could keep up with a Mercedes S280, okay?
It's not that I wouldn't fight Mothman. I would beat the shit out of him.
We're seasoned.
So wait, you mean to tell me they have a festival commemorating the day a man got his shit rocked by an extraterrestrial carrot?
My neighbors across the street, they are not real.
But a pyramid is the most boring shape.
Part Sasquatch, part trickster midget.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Kitchen.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us in the Conspiracy Kitchen, where we attempt to find the secret ingredients behind life's daily mysteries. I'm your alien-loving, ghost-hunting head chef, if you will, Joe. And, I'm always accompanied by the cryptic killer, my sous chef, Josh.
Good evening.
And before we get into the episode today, I just want to mention something. I think we're trying to be silenced, or just they're trying to stop us from being able to get these episodes out. I think Josh has the same feelings on this, don't you?
Yeah, because we've been trying for days to record, and we just keep getting stopped.
They don't let us record anymore. And between the weather, which we're about to get into in a little bit, and the other nonsense is just random nonsense which we're going to get into. It just seems like there's a conspiracy against this channel succeeding. I don't think they want us to succeed, Josh.
I don't either, and you know what? Let me tell what's happening with mine first, because yours is a lot more blatant.
All right.
So, as you all probably know, I work at a garage, and we close at 8 o'clock. And my whole thing is get out at 8, shoot home, jump online, get ready to record. Boom. I've been getting out of there at like 9, 9:30 every night now, because people keep coming in last minute, after hours, prying the door open.
Prying it open.
With a nail in their tire. And I'm not allowed to say no, or else I get fired. So I get stuck fixing this bullshit and leaving late, making poor Joe here wait for me. I'm terribly sorry.
No, it's fine. And before you continue, I'll let you continue that. But just to let you know, just to give it a little, we noticed just 2 weeks ago, I just noticed this. Russia now has listeners on our podcast. It shows up in our analytics for countries that listen, and Russia's on there. I can break it down more. I haven't gone on the actual website where they're listening to, but the app only shows by country. And it just seems like right after we kind of talk some shit about Russia and blame them for certain things, now all of a sudden Russia's listening, and now we've been getting screwed over. It's just a little odd coincidence. So yeah, you can go continue.
Just wanted to add to my thing, a lot of Russians with flat tires. Coincidence? I think not, but that's what's been happening on my end. What's been happening on your end?
So, the most blatant one, I guess we'll just go right out on it. I got home yesterday because it's we're just going to record for the Friday morning commute. We already got screwed the rest of the week. We wanted to get that, Monday, Tuesday morning commute episode out. We couldn't do that with all the storms going on. So then yesterday, I'm like, all right, it's fine. As soon as I get home, literally as soon as I get home, I'm ready to set up, just turn my computer on, wait for Josh, have everything boot up. And literally, it's a farm tractor pulling some kind of like a tiller, maybe, like, you know, that tills the dirt up, folded up, comes down my street, curves around in front of my house, drives kind of slightly up my driveway, and just tears the fiber cable for my internet right out of the telephone pole on the way by, and just keeps driving. It just, you hear a little zap noise. It just keeps driving. It's pulling it down, and it finally snaps. It flings around, and I'm like, what the fuck? This guy, what the fuck are you doing? So I call, and of course, you know, when you're talking to these internet providers, they don't understand what you're saying. So I'm trying to explain to the guy, it got taken down. The cable's taken down. And he's like, oh, what, your internet's down? I'm like, yes, because there's no cable going to my house anymore. There's no fiber optic cable coming into my house. Oh, so our tech set up everything inside and forgot to finish outside work? I'm like, no, ass. That was ripped off the pole. Literally ripped off the pole. It's it. It was ripped off the pole. Oh, well, you've reached the coaxial side. Now I got to transfer you to the fiber side, which took 15 fucking minutes. And I finally get to the fiber side, and the guy's like, oh, okay, so we have to finish setting up the outside fiber lines? I'm like, no, I've had it for 2 years. I need you to replace the fiber line that's on the pole. So I think the Russians have even infiltrated the call center there to try to make me frustrated and give up trying to get it fixed or something. Because I had to go back and forth. Then he finally goes, oh, someone left the fiber line out in the street? We'll just clean it up. And I'm like, I don't have internet.
Oh, my God.
I need you to set up. I need you to come here. It's ripped off the pole. It's ripped out of my house. I even sent Josh the pictures of it. And then they're like, oh, we could probably get someone out tomorrow. So then there goes that. Couldn't record yesterday. Guy finally came. He was just hanging on the freaking wires with a ladder to run this freaking fiber cable. Took him about, I guess, 2 hours. And now I have internet again. I'm back. I'm online. I was going to maybe try to hotspot, and I wasn't going to use my personal phone because I think I have unlimited data, but hotspot, I think I only have a certain amount of gigs. I was just going to use my work phone and hotspot last night, but then I was worried about, what happens if they deprioritize or something and then we get kicked off and we ruin a recording. So I didn't do that either. And they probably would have freaking EMP'd the house or something at that point. So then I just waited, had the fiber installed. And then before that, I had issues with my freaking, kind of with the internet. It let me record. It was odd issues. Certain, like, games, mobile games, if you tried to listen to watch ads, it wouldn't work. And then, like, the boxes in my house are all stream boxes, so, like, certain channels weren't working. It was like, they were, like, tried to get it, they didn't get it right, it didn't affect the Riverside, which we record on, so then they just said, fuck it, go there and just rip the cable out of the fucking house. That's what I feel like happened.
And if the Russians infiltrated the internet providers, it's a long con because they've been clueless for the longest time. I don't know if anyone's ever spoken to these animals on the phone.
Animals.
But you just tell them your issue. Like I have like a gig of internet, which is, it's fine. But like I don't have that speed going. Like it's much less. So I call them, I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to be at this, but it's rating at this. And they're like, oh, well, that's rough, man. And I'm like, I'm not confiding in you. I want you to fix it. Like, the fuck do you mean? They're like, oh, well, we could get you another, router, but it's going to be the same thing. And I'm like, then why would you all right.
I have 2 gig fiber, 2 gig download speed fiber. It's not bad. Like when I had coaxial when I first moved into this house 2 years ago when we bought it, on the 21st, it'll be 2 years since closing on this house that we bought. I had coaxial first. It was miserable. The regular cable, none of the cable boxes worked for months. And I kept trying to do stuff online and stuff, and they wouldn't. And when I finally switched to fiber, everything worked fine. But it was weird. After a couple months, I finally called them back. Can I just get like a refund? And she's like, it took this long to say something. I'm like, no, go back through your history. I've called multiple times. I can't do that. I can't check. Like, you really don't save that shit. And then she gave me like $20 off. I was like, this is bullshit. But then I switched to fiber, got all the fucking channels and 2 gig internet, and we've been golden. Except for when they fucking ripped the wire down. So this is much better. I don't know if they have fiber in your area.
No.
Because we have the same company. If they do, I would recommend switching to it. But Yeah, I mean, they're just fucking dumb, dude. They're fucking stupid when you call them. And I don't know if, I mean, sorry if you work for like a call center like that, but dude,
Just do
some
better.
of these people are just do better, dude.
Google the
I'm trying
answers.
to explain.
Have something ready when we call you. Fuck's sake. Oh, a cable got ripped down from the pole outside. Oh,
What?
they didn't plug it in? No.
It's gone. It's ripped off the fucking pole.
Like, how dumb do you have to be to answer a question that way? Anyway, doesn't matter.
And then they asked like 4 times, but you still have your service is still good? No, it doesn't work.
Oh, so your internet's completely down. How would you feel about upgrading today? I'll kill you.
Would you like to would you like to add our mobile plan and they get phone? No, I don't. They ask all the time. It pisses me off. I have watch lines because I use like the Galaxy watches with their own number, and AT&T number syncs it. So if I leave my phone at home and just have the watch, if someone calls the phone, it's like it goes right to the watch instantly. It's got its own service, its own phone number, but then I sync the phone number from my phone, so it still acts like as if you're calling the watch directly. It's great. They do not have it with their mobile plan. I told the guy when he's like, oh, you pay too much. I'm like, do you have watch lines? Well, no. I'm like, well, then I'd pay $1,000 a month to fucking keep the watch lines. And he gets all weird, but I'm like, fuck off. You don't have what I want. I don't want it. Just give me your internet and shut up.
Yeah. Dick.
But before that, we were getting screwed with internet and power issues. I mean, because of the fucking storms. How much rain did we get?
Dude, so much. It just kept raining. Like,
It just kept raining.
every day.
Like we had all those floods down in Texas, which is, it's far from us. Texas, if you're in, our UK listeners and Europe, it's much farther than like you guys to France or Spain or anything. It's all the way out the frick down south. They had a ton of flooding, too. And then now we had a ton of flooding, and that just screwed with us. And I don't know if that's who's the one manipulating that, trying to just drop all the rain clouds on the conspiracy kitchen here. We don't want them getting our secrets out. I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if we make it through this episode. Something's going to happen. You feel it?
Someone's going to get hit by lightning. Or another
During that
truck's
storm-
going to come by and take the cable down again.
As I'm sitting here recording. And speaking of the light getting struck by lightning, you had the next town over. Someone died from that lightning strike just 2 days ago. There was a Boy Scout troop out archery in the thunderstorm for some reason, and it struck and like freaking wounded 12 people and killed 1 person.
Jesus Christ, man.
I was like, what are you doing? And that same day, I have it on my Nest doorbell camera. That same day, I took the garbage out to the can, and as I turn around and walk back to the house, all of a sudden, all the hair on my arms and my neck and everything stood straight up. It was like a split second, and then there was a bright flash and a loud thunder, and my legs just gave out, and I collapsed in the yard. And then I watched it on my doorbell camera, and you see the doorbell camera watching, and then the doorbell camera gets all distorted. Like, it wasn't like you just see a flash of light. Like, it got screwed up. Like, it manipulated the video, and then you see me just fall to the ground like a sack of shit. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I get up and go in the house. Like, fuck this.
You got EMP'd.
I got, like, they were trying to EMP the house, I think. Yeah.
You know what's funny? And I should say it's funny, but to me it is. My father, who I mentioned in the last episode,
Yes.
he yelled at me drunkenly on a rowboat. He's dodged death more times than anyone I've ever met. Like, he's lost fingers in the dumbest way. He got his throat cut open by accident, survived that. But he was also struck by lightning 2 times.
2.
2. And he's fine.
He's fine. Well, they say the majority of people do survive lightning strikes.
He was in the house, which I know lightning goes anywhere, but like he was in the basement and he still got hit by lightning.
Yeah, it didn't hit me. I didn't get struck directly. It must have struck something nearby, and it just made my legs give out because it was loud. It was like I got flashbanged. But and the camera, you see the doorbell camera go down, and then I collapse. But right before it happened, it was the fucking weirdest feeling. Right before it happened, all everything, all the hair on my body stood straight up. And I was like, what? And then I just, dude. It must have been like the electromagnetic, like the charge, the charge, you know how like when lightning strikes is because the electrons in the ground pile up and it's more than like the cloud, and the cloud releases the lightning bolt to the, it must have been like just that charge going through the ground must have fucking made all my hair stand up.
That's crazy.
And I guess it hit like a tree or something. I don't know. Nothing. I didn't see anything on fire. I just wanted to say, I was like, fuck this, dude.
Oh, God. But yeah.
Yeah, so the storms.
Yeah.
Like, I guess we'll rant about this for a little while. That's the next point, or appetizer, if you will, is the cloud seeding. The fucking cloud seeding.
It's been happening a lot. I've noticed it more this summer.
And I don't know if it's happening more or if we're noticing it more. But if you remember, I don't know how far back you believed in it or whatever, when we talked about quote-unquote chemtrails, we were called assholes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they told us weather modification didn't exist, right? From what I understand.
Yeah.
They told us, you're a fucking asshole, there's no such fucking thing. But then, cloud seeding, I'll explain it to you. A little bit, I guess. They either put like silver iodide in clouds, or they do like dry ice. And dry ice, cools the air rapidly in the cloud, causing water vapors to condense into droplets in the cloud. The silver iodide, they use it for colder clouds, below freezing. Encourages ice formation, and then obviously ice melts into fucking water. So they can release it. And you can look this up, guys. I'm not fucking around. You can even just type in cloud seeding in Google, and it'll explain it to you. They can release it as a gas, or dry ice drop it. Dry ice is just fucking, frozen carbon dioxide. Mm-hmm. They can release it from a plane and just dispense it into the clouds with a plane. Directly into the cloud with a plane. So, they're fucking lying to you and we were told we were assholes all that time about everything is just vapor trails from the plane and the change and the speed and all that. Yes, there's vapor trails, but they also do this fucking bullshit. And they can also do it with ground-based generators. They have these things. They burn silver iodide, release the particles into the air, and it's carried into the cloud with wind. They do that. Or they can even deliver it with rockets. So they send the rocket up into a high-altitude clouds and release the same shit. Now, this is going... we were called assholes. And now it's kind of coming out. But this was going on all the way in the 40s. This type of stuff. And then we have, weather manipulation dating back to, the 1800s. Because I've looked into this. In the 1800s, they used to set wildfires in California. And then the smoke would rise into the clouds, and they would try to do the same effect to try to create more rain for the Midwest, which would be it gets traveled through the jet stream just east of California, and what's all that farmland? They were trying to make more fucking rain, but as you know, that they're not going to want to use it only for good, right?
No.
So what happens when this is obviously the biggest thing I could think of. Would be an amazing... This is probably the most terrifying military weapon. Right? You could use this as a military weapon. Controlling the weather. Mm-hmm. Just imagine, before you go in, before you do anything, you send in a large hurricane into a country. It will just ravage them. How do you defend against it? You know what I mean? It ravages the area. It's all softened up. Then you send in your troops. I'll guarantee you the military's been spending billions of dollars researching this. And one of the earlier signs they were trying to do this was Hurricane King, or if you want to call it Project Cirrus in 1947. You know about this? October 13, 1947?
I know a little, yes.
Yeah, so there's a hurricane off the coast. About 350 miles east of Jacksonville, Florida. It was moving northeast in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, this storm was supposed to stay out to, supposed to curve away from the shore, probably go towards our British friends, and kind of, but by the time it gets there, it's dead. So they were wondering, oh, can we manipulate it? We'll put dry ice in it. Because, hurricanes kind of grow by warm water, so they were going to try to put dry ice in it to reduce the rainfall and see if it works. Because it would, trigger, like, the super cold water in the clouds counteracting the warmer water below. So they seed the fucking thing with dry ice. They wanted to check for visible changes in the structure. And then they would go back the next day and try to track where they thought it would be. And see how it's going. Well, they go back the next day and they're like, well, fuck, it's not here. It's not where we thought it would be. Did we actually completely destroy the hurricane? Well, no. They did not fucking destroy the hurricane. This seeding caused it to make an abrupt 90-degree turn towards the coast, and it made landfall near Savannah, Georgia on October 15th, 1947. They said that there was visible changes in the cloud structure with reports of pronounced modification in the seeded cloud deck. This is in 1947. So when it landed in Georgia, it killed someone and caused about $3.26 million in damages in 1947 money, which would be a lot. It's a lot of money, especially for the time. And then it kills someone. So now these people are like, what the fuck? You assholes. It wouldn't have came ashore. You dumped fucking dry ice in the thing. It basically kind of strengthened it and made it make a sharp freaking west turn and slam into Georgia. And they say, oh yeah, we're not going to, we'll give up the project because it's too controversial. Do you think they gave up the contract? The fucking thing? Bullshit. They're like, oh shit, we can really get some shit going on here, right?
Yeah, it's too powerful of something to just give up.
Yeah, because, well, first of all, you're not going to give it up because what happens if, especially if you're the U.S., because what happens if China and Russia could be studying it? So you're not just going to give it up. Because then you don't want them to fucking have it, and you don't.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a national security thing. You can't.
Yeah, it's too dangerous to give it up at that point, because if everyone else but you is going to have it, what's to stop them from using it against us?
Yeah.
But
yeah, and so they continued. I mean, they did continue, and they ran what do they call it? Fucking I'm trying to remember the name now. Project Storm Fury. I think it was Project Storm Fury. They ran this from 62 to 83. Basically the same shit. It was the U.S. Navy and NOAA. Well, the U.S. Weather Bureau, I think they called it back then, but NOAA. And they were doing the same shit. They were launching planes, which we were called assholes for thinking they would do this. And they would drop silver iodide into hurricanes and other cloud structures to simulate super cold water to freeze or disrupt the storm's cloud structure. And they were continuing to do this. Now they're all saying it's only for the good. It's only for good, but it's not only for good. I'm telling you, it's not. And when you fuck with Mother Nature,
hurricane.
that's what I'm saying. We have no idea what we're getting into. Like, just leave fucking Mother Nature alone. You can't fucking do this. Now they're trying to say that during Storm Fury we found out that dropping silver iodide actually. It reduced wind speeds in these hurricanes, like Hurricane Debbie in 1969. They seeded it on August 18th and August 20th, and they said the storm's maximum sustained wind speeds dropped by 31%. But, I mean, the wind speeds change all the time.
Yeah.
So, I think it's all bullshit. And then when you go back to what cloud seeding actually is, it's to form water droplets. So it's going to cause more rain. That's what it does. It gives in the cloud, it gives the water molecules something to form to. So maybe it does slow down the fucking rain, the wind, but I think it causes some big issues, like what we found out in Texas.
Yeah, there was like
fucking 2 weeks ago.
It was like whole towns washed away.
Yeah, because it rained so fucking much. And you have the CEO of Rainmaker Technology. Look at the name of the fucking company. Rainmaker Technology, right? This guy, Augustus, confirmed that his company conducted cloud seeding operations 2 days. So the Texas floods happened on July 4th, the 4th of July. 2 days before, on July 2nd, they ran cloud seeding operations. Then, 2 days later, they have historic floods, like a 1,000-year flood. And this ass comes out and says, well, it's just a coincidence.
Pretty big fucking coincidence.
Allegedly.
Huh.
I think, allegedly, this literally caused this flooding to be way worse than it is. And the name of your company is Rainmaker Technology. You know what I mean? Like you're sitting here fucking telling me, no, we didn't make rain. We didn't make it worse. You know what I mean?
Oh my god. That's like killing somebody and working for like a gun factory and saying it was just a coincidence. It wasn't me. It's like, no, asshole. It was exclusively you.
So they're trying to say that, well, they're come out and say that cloud seeding alone can't do this. Okay, yes. There was probably a storm coming, right? But you are making more rain. You made this storm worse. Yeah, you can't cloud seed nothing and rain come. You have to go and cloud seed a storm or clouds already. But, I mean, you had 15 inches of rain down there in Kerr County. Historic rain. He's trying to say that it's not just from him, but he did not help. The name of your company is Rainmaker Technology Corporation. You increase the amount of rainfall down there. Who knows by what percent? It doesn't matter. Even if it was 1%, you made it worse.
It's still such a new concept for people that they can't prove it.
And yes. So when we have these investigations and they come back and they say, well, based on their data, it's only like, a couple percent. But they can just bullshit their data. You think this company, Rainmaker Technology, if would just to be like, all right, we made the storm worse and we killed all these people. They would never do that. Their data, for an investigative purpose, would just say, yeah, it doesn't really do much. Yeah.
Oh, to be honest, on a flip side to that, if they were to come out and be like, look, our bad, that was us, they would probably get a pretty big government contract out of that and make a butt ton of money. So they could easily be like, you know what, that was us. You know what?
I guess, but then a lot of people are going to be pissed.
Yeah, they'll be pissed, but then they got government contracts protecting them, so fuck them.
I guess. I wouldn't. I would not. Especially because a lot of those states down there, the more conservative states, are passing a lot of laws to ban weather modification. Like Florida and all them. They want to ban weather modification in their states.
I mean, Florida has a lot more things they need to ban before that, but go on.
Yeah, but, I mean, they want to ban... I mean, they get battered by hurricanes all the time, Florida. So I can understand them wanting to ban weather modification over there. I mean, but then you just do it in a different state and it ends up going there. But I guess if the storm does go there and it's modified, I guess Florida can come after you legally. I don't know. But I don't know. Even for the contract, I wouldn't want to put my company's name out there saying we just killed a bunch of people allegedly with not saying they did, but if this were to be the case where cloud seeding did do this, I wouldn't put my name out there and have my company Rainmaker, which, I mean, come on, dude. Can you be any more obvious?
Such a great name for a company.
Go out there, cloud seed, and then have this storm just ravage Texas.
Yeah. And we're not, by the way, we're not trying to say that our storm was just as bad. It wasn't. Not by
No,
a
it wasn't
long
as bad.
shot. It was still bad, but not even close to what they got down there.
No, they got the worst. Yeah, they did. They got it way worse. Yeah, we're not saying it was bad. So then, like we've had storms where, there was flooding in New Jersey. Josh can tell you all about the flooding. I didn't really have that much flooding around me in any parts, but up by where Josh is, yes. But before that, again, there's if you go on the FAA, you can see NASA was running planes in a pattern just southwest of us, just 4 hours a day, just running this pattern. They didn't disclose speed or anything, just high altitude, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, 4 hours a day. And then after that, we just get a shit ton of rain. A shit ton of rain over multiple days. And it wasn't just like one storm. It was multiple different storms that would just dump a fucking metric shit ton of rain on us. And then another storm would come and just dump a shit ton of rain on us. And see, for me, it made me lose internet another day. What was that that was when we tried to record for the Monday, Tuesday episode. So I lost internet with that, and the power was going on and off. Now I do have an uninterruptible power supply. So if the power would go out, my home generator takes about 10 seconds to turn on. I wouldn't lose that. But if the internet goes out, I'm fucked. It's not like I have a fucking internet generator. So we were like, can we do this? And I think you completely lost internet. Mm-hmm. Or you were losing power too. So these fucking storms just rolling through, on top of fucking us out of recording, trying to silence us. It just seems like this cloud seeding is it's just more and more out there. And maybe we just know more about it now, or realize that cloud seeding exists. And like a couple years ago, we were called assholes for saying it existed. But it seems like, did we have this much rain last year? I don't think we did.
Not last year. I don't know if it was the year before or the year before that where we had the last big flood. That's the one I got the story for. But yeah. All that affected me this time was because where my job is, I live 10 minutes away. It took me 2 hours to get to work the other day. Just because all the roads were fucked and underwater.
It's only 10 minutes? I thought it was more than that. I thought it was 15, 20.
No, not even. But no, last time was the bad one. Because that was half of one of the nearby towns was completely underwater. You couldn't even see houses.
Yeah, it's just so fucked.
But that time I had gotten home from work because at the time I was running an auto parts store. So I let my staff go home early because I kept getting alerts severe weather warnings. So I'm yeah, you could all fuck off. I don't want to see anyway. So they went home, and then I shut down and went home, and my wife was not here. I was like, hey, where are you? She's like, oh, I'm out with my friend. We're having dinner at the mall. And I'm like, oh, good. Get home because it's downpouring like crazy and there's severe flood warnings. And she's like, all right, we're just getting the check. About an hour goes by and I get another call saying hey, you need to come get us because the road is shut down. And at the time I didn't, because I drive a Jeep. At the time, I didn't have that because radiator was busted. So I was driving a Ford Transit Connect work van with a quarter tank of gas, and my phone was, I think, at 25% battery life. So I'm like, all right, I'm on my way. So I try to drive up to the highway where they were, but I get stopped by a cop, and I look just past him, and I see a waterfall behind him just going across the road. So I'm like, oh, good. So I turn around and try another way, completely blocked off. Eventually, I make it back to where my job was. And I call her and I'm like, listen, it's still coming down pretty bad. I can't get to you right now. And I'm very limited on gas that I have. So I need to wait it out for a little bit and then try again. She's like, okay. So I'm in my parking lot. I fall asleep in the van for 2 hours. And then when I wake up, I look out the window and there's just so many people that got stranded in the parking lot. There was big trucks and like families and minivans, and I'm like, oh Christ. So I get another call from her and her friend is like getting on her case to like call me again and tell me to try to get there again. And she's like, "Oh, it stopped raining. You should be good now." And I was like, "No, that's not how flooding works." I'm like, the rain is just step 1. Step 2 through 5 is everything that's coming up out of the sewers.
Yeah.
So I try again, and I had to go through another town, which is underwater. I'm going down the back roads, and I stop at what looks to be a lake. It's really just another street, but I stop and I do a K-turn, and as I'm turning, this asshole in a brand new Land Rover cuts me off, makes me slam on my brakes, and he flies past me and just goes directly into this lake, and his car just dies. And I'm like, well, I'd help you, but you wouldn't learn anything. And I left. So then I get back right before my town, and there's an intersection, and I'm there with like 40 other people because they see like a puddle that they're all afraid to drive through. And my wife and her friend end up getting to where I'm at, and my wife jumps in the van. And I'm just annoyed because I left to get her it was 8 o'clock at night. At this point, it's now 3 o'clock in the morning. So I just floored it and went through the intersection and made it home. And I was like, just go to bed. No. And then I had work the very next day. I had to open, so I had to hoof it to work again. And I saw all the cars that got ran off the road because of the rain. There was like cars like upside down and shit. It looked like a bomb went off. And then I started seeing pictures from the nearby baseball stadium, and it was just completely underwater, which is insane. But yeah, we didn't know that floods could get that bad here, because I don't think we had ever experienced that before that. But yeah, then this time it came around and we were all much more cautious, and then we were hearing stories about, towns nearby. There were 2 people, I think, that passed away. Their car got swept off the road into a lake, and they unfortunately passed away. But it was, yeah, it's insane. People's like, my coworker showed me a video by his house. A guy's front lawn, like, turned into a sinkhole, and his front yard is completely gone. Like it's insane. I've never seen anything like that. But
The fuck?
yeah, so that's why we haven't been on, folks, because everyone and their mother has been trying to cut off the internet and slow us down, and
They've been trying to silence the shit out of us. They don't want this podcast up. They don't like us succeeding. But I think the heaviest rain I've ever seen, and I still don't think it's beat, was during Irene.
oh yeah,
Hurricane Irene.
What
Dude, I
year
don't know if you were outside or not, but when I was living, when I was that high school? Or did I just graduate? I forgot exactly. But, I was living in the hometown, and our basement, our Hurricane Irene was just, dude, it was pouring. You couldn't even see through the rain, two inches in front of you. And our sump pump in our basement just stopped working, so the basement started actually flooding. And my dad's like, we need to go get a pump. And where he worked, they had pumps. So I don't know why we were kind of like, why we did this, but instead of taking his like F-250, we took my grandfather's Lincoln LS, which is just a sedan. Well, you know the car.
I miss
You
that
rode in it.
car.
Yeah, so we took that instead of the F-250, and we drove to his job. Dude, you still couldn't see shit. We drove, got the pump, started coming back. The water's like pushing us around on the streets at some spots. I'm like, why didn't we take the 250? We get back, and we dumped the fucking, the submersible pump down there and started pumping out the basement. But that was probably the worst rain I've ever seen. Like around 11 o'clock, midnight, it was just fucking couldn't see shit. And we flooded a lot in our hometown there. There was a lot of rain, there was a lot of flooding. I remember not being able to really get out. And then the following year, we had Hurricane Sandy.
That's right.
It was back to back, but Sandy didn't bring as much rain.
No, it knocked out the power for like a week, though.
But it was the wind. And it's now thinking about Sandy, and then thinking about that 1947 hurricane that they tried to cloud seed. Hurricane Sandy was out to sea, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like tracking it, like, oh, it's going to stay out to sea. And then if you remember, like the day before, it made that left turn towards New Jersey. And it landed somewhere, I think it landed just south of Atlantic City. Or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you remember, my grandfather's house, he was on the water. And, dude, the storm surge was so bad from the ocean. And when Hurricane Sandy landed, it came up the coast. And I was wondering now thinking about it, did they were they cloud seeding that thing and it just fucking made a left turn? Just the same as that Georgia hurricane from what they call it, Hurricane King from 1947?
Possibly.
It's a similar, right? Very similar circumstance where all of a sudden it just decides to make a 90-degree turn and just say, fuck it. But, dude, I remember we were trying to get out of fucking our hometown. There was trees down everywhere. Power was out for like over a week. We finally tried to get, because we told my grandfather, like, don't stick it out down there. Like, come with us, because we're more inland. And I remember trying to go down there, and we're driving through the town where my grandfather was, and we're like, oh, it doesn't look too bad. It's not too bad. And we're going down that one road, the main road that went down to the little side street. Mm-hmm. And we're driving like, yeah, it's not too bad. Then all of a sudden, about a mile from the house, we see the neighbor's boat just in the street. And we're like, oh, this might be bad, dude. So we get to... Yeah, so we get down there. We finally get down there. And our boat, or my dad's boat that was on blocks, sunk in the driveway of the house because it was, October at the time. So we already had the boat out and winterized for the winter. And you leave the plug out. So, if any water's in there, it drains out, it doesn't freeze inside. Well, it filled, it started to float and then sunk in the driveway. So it was off the blocks, all fucked up. And we're walking around and there was like, the water line, once you got in the house, in the living room, was like 3 feet off the ground. And everything was just destroyed. And we're trying to get them the homeowner's insurance. And they're like, well, it wasn't a hurricane. It was a superstorm, so we don't cover superstorms. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, they told us that, too. They were like, yeah, it wasn't a hurricane. Fuck you.
It was a superstorm because it was a hurricane that merged with a nor'easter and that was coming up, and they conformed together, so it wasn't I was like, shut the fuck up.
Fuck you, play on words. We know what it was.
Fucking bullshit. Superstorm Sandy.
Ugh.
But yeah, the storm surge was insane, dude. And it took out like bridges and shit on the coast. The neighbors across the street from my grandfather stuck it out. And they're an older couple. They were there, and this was in 2012, by the way, if you guys didn't know when Superstorm Sandy landed. They were telling us, yeah, we were laying in bed, nothing, we saw, the water was still kind of low. We laid down in bed, and then next thing I know, I wake up and I'm like, why is my pants wet? And the guy's like, I thought I peed myself. And then I turned the light on and look, and he said the water's like at the edge of the bed. And they got up in the attic. They got up in the attic and they just stuck it out in the attic. Oh. Dude, that's fucked, right?
Dude.
And yeah, Sandy was horrible. And now I'm trying to wonder if fucking Sandy was an experiment with cloud seeding or something.
I remember it was really cold that week, and...
Oh, yeah, right after, dude. So, yeah, it was the fucking storm. It was, like, hot when we had no power, and then, like, right after, it was snowing. Because I remember it snowing when we went down to my grandfather's house to try to figure out what we're going to do. And it started snowing. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, because we still didn't have power, so we had to, like... Because we were going to redo the porch anyway, but we were chopping up bits of our porch and burning them in the backyard for warmth. I remember that very clearly, and I was like, this is, like, fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like some fucking I Am Legend shit, because we were doing the same thing that night we're still at the house. We're trying to get pictures because there was like pictures floating around and shit, and we were trying to like lay them out and let them dry. Like, you know, my grandfather's like wedding album and stuff. We're trying to like dry out, and we were taking the kitchen table and kitchen chairs, just breaking them apart and throwing them in the fireplace because there's no power down there either, and they shut off the natural gas and everything was shut off down there because of the flooding. So they shut everything down, and we were like, this is like some fucking shit.
And there was only certain gas stations that were open, so you had to wait in gas lines for hours.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
Ugh.
It was so fucking bad, dude.
I think we waited like 4 hours in one line.
We got to stay at a hotel for a little while, but yeah, the Sandy might have been a fucking cloud seeding circumstance too. Now thinking about it, comparing it to the other hurricane that they seeded and it made the left turn. But yeah, we're going way out of the way. But here, coming back to today, these days, I mean, I think we need to stop fucking with Mother Nature. You can't sit there. You don't know what's going to happen. We can't just dump shit into a cloud and be like, oh yeah, we can kind of think. No, I don't think that's how it's going to work. I don't think this is something you should be really fucking with.
No, it's not safe. It's never been safe, and it never will be. Because Mother Nature is the most, like, you can't fucking predict anything with it.
No, they fucking get the weather wrong all the time, dude.
Yeah.
All the time. They can't predict it. And then they're going to sit there and be like, oh, we can try to manipulate it and control it. It's the most powerful thing that we know of.
Yeah.
Besides getting hit with like an asteroid. So you can't do that. They really should stop. You're right. They should stop. But the problem is, like I was saying before, the national security thing, like, you're damn sure China and Russia are working on the same shit. And if you use it as a weapon, it's the most powerful weapon you can get.
Yeah, because that could just demolish cities.
Exactly.
At a moment's
and then
notice.
you can sit there. I don't know. And you can. Then there's so much deniability in it. If you're a hostile country, well, we didn't do that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you just had some bad weather. What a shame.
You had some bad weather. You're gonna blame us for it, you scumbag?
Yeah. But
yes, weather bad. Weather manipulation bad. No more weather manipulation.
yeah, don't do it. That's our PSA. Don't manipulate the weather.
That was a big appetizer. That was like an all-you-can-eat appetizer at Fridays.
Fucking 45 minutes in.
We didn't even get to the main dish.
All you can eat appetizer at Fridays.
You remember them?
Let's rant on that for a minute and a half. They had that. You could all you could eat is what, $10, and you're like, I would like another plate of wings, and they bring out a plate with like half a wing, and they're like, there you go, all you can eat. Bullshit. Anyway.
I mean, Fridays are closing left and right around me.
They should.
Probably right. But, well, the brownie obsession is probably far my favorite dessert in the world. That's all I'm going to say about the matter. Maybe this podcast will save Fridays and people will start going back. But I love their brownie obsession. And we can never lose Fridays after what our Call of Duty expert did to that waitress.
We should clarify what he said he didn't do anything to a waitress.
He didn't physically do anything.
He made her quit. All right.
He made her quit. Just picture this guy in a weird turtleneck sitting at a table. You have a waitress and you have Mystique, the waitress in training, come to the table. The waitress, the main, like the one that's been there a while, she goes, "This is my assistant," or my whatever she called her. I forgot exactly what she called her.
Training.
Mystique, and waitress in training. I'm training her. Mystique, if you need anything, or however she put it, if you just ask her if you need anything. And this guy, our Call of Duty expert, looks up at her with his turtleneck on and goes, "Anything?" And we never saw her again.
She actually turned and walked right away. We didn't get to put our order in yet. We had to wait for somebody else to be brave enough to approach the table. After this one ran out the back door and was never seen again. Because a guy in a turtleneck requested that she do anything. What he really meant was just an extra plate of pot stickers. But what she took it as, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, Save Fridays. Josh might not like it, but he fucking goes to Applebee's. What the fuck?
Fuck
Their
you,
brownie
Applebee's
obsession
is good.
Their brownie obsession is the best dessert you can possibly get on the planet. Save Fridays. I think there's only one left.
They don't have a quesadilla
25
burger.
minutes from my fucking house. Fuck the quesadilla burger.
Fuck you.
Sizzling chicken. When I went to JLG training for work, when I was out in Maryland, I went to a Fridays both nights that I actually went out to eat. Besides just getting, because I was out there for a while at the manufacturing plant. And both nights, the same two guys were at the bar. And they bought me drinks. But I had sizzling chicken and cheese and a brownie obsession. You can't beat it.
Yeah. Sizzling chicken and cheese and a brownie obsession for $111. Who could beat those?
The fucking company paid for it, bro. I didn't care.
Some of us don't have that luxury. Some of us gotta pay
You
for
throw it
our
on
own.
the fucking company credit card, dude. But but on a side note with that whole thing, I never want to be the guy that goes to a Fridays bar to just sit and chill by myself. You know, or those two guys. That was their spot. You know, I hope I never get like that. It's like a whole new level of just depression.
You go to Applebee's where the game's on. Everyone's having a good time. You get $1 margaritas.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Brownie obsession.
Fuck no.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, we're going on a tangent. I think what we really wanted to kind of talk about tonight, which I guess would be the Vatican, right? We want to kind of get into the Vatican and the whole Catholic, what we kind of believe's going on there. Because when you look at certain things and certain aspects and what has happened out there allegedly, we kind of think maybe they don't, like maybe the devil has infiltrated this place. And it might not be what you think it is.
Do you have any history with the church, like as a kid growing up?
Not really.
Oh, I do. Can I tell you about that real quick?
Yeah, and before we get into this whole thing, we're not saying that all like Catholics or Christians are bad. That's separate. I think they actually are like the good. You know, they want certain, you know, act a certain way, and they believe in this stuff. But I think there's certain aspects, because once you get, you know, powerful, or, you know, the corruption comes along with it, and I think certain things take advantage of their people.
Yeah,
but you can tell me about your story.
I've heard a priest say the worst representative of God is the church. But anyway.
Yes.
Because that's when corruption starts. But anyway, when I was a kid, I was raised in the Catholic Church. I did all the communion and all that fun stuff. And I would go to Sunday school, and my mom actually taught there for a little bit when I was a kid. And she pushed me very much to be an altar boy. She wanted me to do that. Mm-hmm. And I always told her no, and I never did it. But every year she would ask me again, like, hey, can you please? I would really like it if you did that. I'm like, no, I'm good. And then I finished in 8th grade, and I was given the choice, you know, like once you finish your confirmation, you could choose to go to church or not. And I, of course, chose not because I want to sleep in on Sundays. And a few years go by, and the big list came out of all the priests that were getting caught for extracurricular activities with young boys. And right at the bottom of the list, there he was, the priest at my church.
So you're saying you dodged a bullet?
I did, and I went and I showed my mom, and I was like, Mom, right there, don't you Aren't you glad I wasn't an altar boy? And she got mad at me. She got mad at me. She's like, you keep showing me this and you're really upsetting me because now my faith is shaken and I don't know what to believe. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Your faith is shaken? I almost got molested, but your faith is shaken.
Yeah. Yes.
And she's like, oh,
Exactly.
you wouldn't have been molested. I'm like, well, rude. First off, I was an 8.5 when I was a kid. I was very molestable. But also, I don't give a fuck about your faith if I almost got touched. So I dodged a bullet. Amen.
Yeah, she was saying you wouldn't have been molested. What? She doesn't think you're molested.
Apparently, she's like, oh, you're not cute enough to be molested by an old priest. Fuck you. I absolutely was. I had dimples and everything. Bullshit.
He's upset.
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
But yeah. Okay.
So the Vatican.
So the Vatican. As we know, this is like an independent state in Italy. And who's the one that finally acknowledged them as an independent state? Mussolini, our boy, 1929. Another scumbag. So he acknowledges them as an independent state. And the reason being, well, before that, during the Roman Empire's collapse and everything, the Vatican stood strong. And then when Italy started coming back, they were buying up Vatican and the church property, but then they, didn't go past the walls. There was fucking fights. You had the Muslims invading and stuff like that, but they held strong. And then finally in 1929, after all the bullshit, Italy finally saw the Vatican as independent, and then they put it in their constitution after World War II, and it was finally acknowledged by basically everyone. Now, being independent gives you a lot of freedom, but also allows for a lot of corruption, right? That's what I'm going to go with, because they have their own bank. They have the Vatican Bank. And this bank is the unregulated. No one regulates this bank. That's just to begin with. So that we'll get into that in a minute. But what do you besides the corruption? What do you think's going on down there in the Vatican?
It's at this point, it's all corruption because it's been around since what, the 4th century?
Yeah, I mean we've had a pope since they've had a pope and it moved to France too. We can't forget, and then it moved. The pope stayed in France, I should say, and then moved back to Italy. But there's been a pope since Jesus has died. But so you have these whole lines of popes, but they have a king that actually rules the Vatican, making it one of the only king-driven, absolute. Because the king has all the say over everything, really. In the area, like any of our modern societies don't have this anymore. It's a democracy, but the Vatican is still king. King says it. You can only, and the only way you can be a citizen of the Vatican is if you work for the church in some way. You can't be born into it or anything. You can't be a Vatican citizen by being born there, because you just get shipped to. You're an Italian citizen. But yeah, it's been around for a while.
My view on it, I'll look at it from a an atheist standpoint for a second. So it's been around for the longest time, and back in the day when you want to control people, you play off of their faith. You say, I spoke to God, or we do God's will. People will follow that, especially back then. So then what do? You get all these people together that want to rule everything. You form a church, you form a religion. You get all of these followers because they think you're the word of God. And then it's much easier to just control everything. And then you go centuries down the line, you have your own city, and it's very secretive, no one's allowed in, and you have all of this power that no one can question because it's been around for centuries. But they have no business having their own bank.
We'll get into that in a second. But I feel like, okay, do they worship? Do they actually worship God in the Vatican? I think, in a way, if we go by a religious look at it, I think the devil has infiltrated this area. Maybe these people are actually possessed by demons, or the demons have taken over to make them perform certain things or do certain things that are against God. Now, the bank, being mentioned, was formed for World War II. That's when they formed the bank. Now, the Vatican is supposed to stay neutral with anything going on, wars or anything, never take sides. However, this bank's formed, and this is like started evil, because we know, as much as we joke about anything else, Hitler was probably one of the most evil people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
Could there be someone? Is there really someone more evil than Hitler?
Not in the modern day.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess you can go maybe if you go back prior, but this bank's formed, and then they funnel and wash money for the Nazis themselves, allegedly, through that. But now we don't have exact proof because it's not regulated. They don't keep papers. But Hitler would have money go to the Vatican's banks. The Vatican's banks would then wash it. The Allies could not track that money, and it'd be used in ways that they needed without knowing what it's being used for. So you have that going on with the central bank of the Vatican. We also have Hitler would then on the side would collect all the church taxes from all the churches in under the Third Reich and give it to the Vatican to keep. So why would you be working with such an evil person, but you claim neutrality? And when you look at it, it could be soul feeding, but the people he's killing were probably innocent. But on top of that, allegedly the Vatican would then cash in on concentration camps victims' insurance policies. Now, when the family would go to claim, the insurance places would be, well, where's the death certificate? And obviously, I don't think the concentration camps are giving out death certificates, were they?
I doubt they have them kept on file.
No. So what would happen is the Vatican would, take over and then cash out insurance policies for these people through Germany. So there's a lot of, just right there alone, it seems like there's a lot of evil shit going on in the Vatican.
It is very shady. There was a lot of talk about them saving a certain number of Jews during the Holocaust, but I've heard different theories on it, or different rumors, I should say. Like, they would only save them if they agreed to convert to, like, Catholicism. Things like that, which is fucking rude. But yeah, it's just a lot of shady shit, not to mention what they're supposedly hiding in the basement. But
there's a lot of, the Vatican is supposed to be a giant church, right? In the middle. It's the main focal point of the Vatican. But this whole thing with the bank seems to be like one of the center points on this. And allegedly they've washed money for the mafia. Allegedly they were washing money for the Freemasons. So you got all these major players, if you will, now involved in running their money through here. And what's interesting and what's about it would be someone like Pope John Paul I. Mm-hmm. Right? So Pope John Paul I was 65, I believe. He's elected pope. He picks the name John Paul. He only lasts 33 days. And he was relatively healthy. So this guy goes to bed one night and dies. So then they have kind of contradicting stories about how they found him. At the end of the day, then they come out and say, well, the reason we were doing that is because we didn't want people to know a nun was actually bringing him his morning coffee, and we didn't want people to realize that the nun was alone in the Pope's bedroom to bring him coffee, and that's where she found him. Now, the more you look into it, the more it kind of gets a little odd, if you will. Makes you ask more questions. They don't do an autopsy on him. The autopsy's not performed. They just come out and say he died of a heart attack. I thought you would just kind of do an autopsy on him. Especially, like, for the time, why not?
No, they're qualified to make that assumption, I guess, that it was a heart attack.
And then they kind of claim, oh, yeah, he did mention something the night before about chest pains before he went to bed. But we didn't think anything of it. And then he's dead. So
I got a question out of a 65-year-old man.
If a 65-year-old man says, yeah, I got some chest pains, I'm going to go lay down, I think I would be like, no, let's go get it checked out. That's just me, though. Now, why you don't do it is it makes no sense. And what I'm looking at here is he was more of a straight shooter, and he seemed like he wanted to do things by the book. So he gets in, and I think he finds out all the shit that's going on. The money laundering and all this through the banks. And I think he might be like, yo, maybe we should, like, not do this. And then he's dead. That's my theory on this. So the ones that could have done it, literally could have been any of them, right? The mafia could have done it. Any of the cardinals in the place, if they're involved with it, the Freemasons, right? So you have so many different suspects on that because they are all fucking need their money washed through there, or they're making money off washing the money. That's how I see it. So that just kind of continues to go towards this, like, feeling that the Vatican isn't what it's supposed to be. It's like the opposite of what they're trying to portray they are. And I think, like, they don't really follow God there. They want you to think they do to keep the followers going, but I think they more on the other side worship the other way, like a Satan or Lucifer. And the thing that kind of is I find funny, besides, they have telescopes, right? Now, if you're worshiping God, I thought they kind of don't believe in all the planets and aliens and everything, do they?
No.
Right. I mean, I'm not as well versed in this as someone like you. I guess you might not be extremely well versed, but you're better versed than me. So they don't really believe. But why would they need observatories and stuff? So then you go out and the Vatican operates 2 telescopes or whatever, or they have the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope, and they're allowed to use this attachment, if you will. Now, they kind of claim that it has nothing to do with them, but it's bullshit, because they do. Look into it. It's an attachment for the VAT, and it's called, the name, Large Binocular Telescope Near Infrared Utility with Camera and Integral Field Unit for Extragalactic Research. And yes, it's a long name. So what do? They say, we're going to give it an acronym. And what's the acronym they give it? Lucifer. So isn't that just like, what the fuck?
A little.
And then in 2012, they say, well, maybe it is a little too right out there in your face that we kind of, adore Lucifer. So then we change the name and we call it Lucy to make everything better. We'll just call it Lucy. Right.
Good. That's a cute name.
It's much better. Much better than calling it Lucifer. We'll call it Lucy. No one will no one will know. And we'll leave it at that. But to begin with, why are they studying the planets and stuff? What are they looking for? Do you think there's something going on with aliens?
Yeah. I do.
Right.
And I don't know, there's a lot of stuff with the Vatican and aliens. I guess I'll start with that, but there was a Russian scholar, because only certain people were allowed to go into the archives, because the archives are,
Okay.
what, like 53 miles of shelving?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And his name was Jean-Marie Ludwig. He was a Russian scholar. He was granted access in the 20th century. He mentioned that he found documents describing how extraterrestrial beings had a part in developing ancient civilizations. And he even went into detail saying that there's a document describing a kind of weapon that could melt the stone walls of Babylon, which kind of sounds nuclear. That's just, Then it could also explain leaps in civilization that don't make sense, like the Sumerians, who they were just hunters and gatherers, suddenly developed fortified cities and irrigation systems. Like really advanced shit.
Yep. That's what I'm
And
saying. And we brought up this before, right? Aliens with ancient civilizations. It's in our episode 3, I think. And just last episode, I think we touched on it briefly, but that was more about modern aliens. But we have a lot of stuff too we were talking about where I think it was in episode 3 as well. Aliens kind of being brought into more of a the Bible, the biblical sense. And there's paintings we've talked about, right? One of the famous ones, the baptism of Christ?
yes.
And it's that freaking UFO floating above, and then people are trying to say that's the divine light. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, why is it an oval shaped, asshole?
If that's the divine light, that's like weak as shit because it just looks like an oval with this light coming down on him.
So there's documents about aliens apparently down there, and there was also a UFO spotted by many people in 2007 above the Vatican that you can look up. There's pictures online. It's right there for everyone to see.
Nah. It's not true, right?
No, we're assholes. It's fine. But
to get more, well, if you want to get more into the alien thing, I was going to bring up the fact that they also have like statues and other artifacts that represent different pagan gods at the Vatican, which I thought was a big no-no. Like, you're not supposed to worship any of these other... You worship God. Not Medusa, not... Because they have Medusa on some chalice or something, like the bottom of it's Medusa. They have... what was it? Isis, Set, and... forgot the other Egyptian god that they have down there. Like, that trinity of Egyptian gods they have as, like, statues. And... to me, it doesn't seem like this should be something that's at a church, right?
oh, like Anubis and all of that, yeah.
I don't know if it was Anubis. There was Isis because she was like the mother. There was Set, and I don't remember. I don't know if it was Horus or I'd have to look. I forgot now, but maybe it was Anubis, the underworld god. I don't know, but there was the Egyptian trinity they have down there, and then on top of it, they literally have a depiction of Lucifer, and that's something I didn't think was in any church because they have like the morning star on one side down there, and then they have the evening star on the other. And on the morning star, Lucifer, morning star, they literally have a depiction of Lucifer. So that's something I didn't think should be in any church, let alone the Vatican. Is supposed to be the fucking the church.
No, I used to get yelled at as a little kid because during service I would be coloring because I was bored. And I was a little punk rock kid, so I was drawing like devil horns and shit, and I got yelled at.
Oh, devil
you can't
horns.
be drawing that in church. The fuck you doing? I'm like, all right, you just curse, but it's fine. But yeah, like they're very against that kind of shit in the house of God. So just having that, even in the basement of the holiest place on earth, is a
Makes no
little
sense.
odd. Yeah, doesn't make
Makes
any
no
sense.
sense to me. Yeah, exactly. And it, I mean, they have what they do have tons of exorcisms they've performed there. What the one guy alone did 60,000. They've mentioned that they have done exorcisms on their own exorcism experts or exorcists. So have demons infiltrated the Vatican, and do they kind of worship Satan behind the scenes there? And this is what I was trying to get at. Like, it might be something that's possible that should be watched out for. And it might have been going on for a long time.
Yeah, because they not only do they have books on like how to perform exorcisms, like actual guides there, supposedly. Again, this is what I've read. They also have a book called The Grand Grimoire, which is also known as the Gospel of Satan. In that book, it's basically a book of black magic that tells you exactly how to summon and control your own demon.
And
In
why would they
case-
need this?
Yeah, exactly. What just in case you need a friend. There you go.
So, yeah, something like that doesn't make sense. Why would they need this at the holiest place? This should be a house. This is supposed to be an area for God. With the Pope being the most, I guess, powerful, influential person of Catholic faith, meant to be for God, and it just seems like it's the opposite. And I feel like a lot of this behind the scenes, we've even talked about, like, it seems like even these bigger elites that we know are worship the devil. There's been, everyone has all kinds of proof if you look it up that they go to these satanic things and rituals and all this shit in Hollywood and all that. Maybe he's infiltrated a lot of high up stuff. And as peasants, still kind of, don't go that way. But if you go by the Catholic faith, maybe he's winning. Maybe he has convinced, right? Convince these people to go the other way. You're supposed to resist, but maybe they don't.
Yeah, we'll touch on it on another episode. But yeah, the elites, they go to Bohemian Grove, which it's an all male club for the rich of the rich. And there's a big owl statue and a bunch of other creepy pagan shit. But yeah.
Yeah, we can get into the elites, I guess, in a different, a little preview. That, yeah, we can do that in another episode. Elites, maybe some New World Order or Illuminati shit, and how we think that the elites want this one world thing, open border. I think that's why the open borders are kind of a thing until we kind of shut them down here in the United States. But to kind of blend everyone together so no one realizes it, and it's just we're just one big happy world, and then they just take over and they do what they want. So, we'll get into that in another episode, I guess.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk on that. But like, I just wanted to mention a couple things that
Yes, sir.
I've always read as hidden in the Vatican. Like, Ark of the Covenant is a big one, which is, for those who don't know, is a giant wooden box, overlaid with gold that's said to hold the Ten Commandments. And it disappeared out of the temple because there was a war when the Babylonians came in 597 BC. They started a war and destroyed the Jewish temple where it was, and the Ark was never seen again. But some people think it's in the basement of the Vatican, just chilling. So there's that. And then another funny one I read was because there's a lot of letters and documents from famous people in history, and one is from Michelangelo writing to the Vatican saying that he was never paid for painting the Sistine Chapel, which I guess they were screwing people out of money even back then. So that one,
Guess so.
that one made me giggle.
Well, we also got the fun, the weird shit. The world's largest pornography collection.
Yeah, what the hell is that about? Why they need that?
Just random shit, right?
The
People
fuck,
think the
man?
world's largest fucking pornography collection exists in the vaults of the Vatican.
What do they need that for?
Well, they're supposed to be celibate, right?
Supposed to be, but apparently altar boys are free game.
Different story.
Yeah. They also, one I've always heard about, and it's been making the rounds again on TikTok, is the coronavisor, which
Yes.
it's said to show like the past, like it's like a computer, but you could see the past in it, which is interesting.
They're supposed to, there's supposed to be like some kind of crystal ball, and it's weird how it sounds. It almost sounds like you're saying coronavirus, which is kind of weird too with that. But because apparently corona means what, crown, but also is the gold trim around the Pope's hat, which is interesting to me in its own self. But there's a whole thing about why people think that the coronavirus was helped or influenced to be made by the Vatican, which would be because of the devil himself, with all those links with that, to bring more souls to hell for him. If you're into that whole weird COVID conspiracy train, maybe we do a whole episode on COVID-19 instead of running this episode for 3 hours for me to get into that. But there's a whole thing. We could do a lot of shit on COVID, I think. But
What is it you told me the Vatican stood for? Like,
Vatican. Yeah, so I was gonna get into before. Yeah, if you break the word down into its basic Latin, vatus, canis. So Vatican, vat means divine or sorcerer. Usually uses divine, and then canis, cans, is snake. So like the serpent. So the word kind of means divine serpent, and I always thought serpent, like the snake in the garden, was the devil, or on his side, like a devilish thing. So why would they name this place after that?
Very interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Something's odd there. Odd.
Yeah, I don't.
But obviously, you're not going to get these people to follow you if you flat out tell the whole world that you're worshiping the devil after reading all these Bible things. It's harder to get people to follow you, so you just flip it. Oh no, yeah. We follow God to get everyone following you, but secretly, it's the opposite going on. That's how I feel.
And then they kind of fuck with you a bit because, who is it? It was Pope Francis who apparently opened the archives to the public. He said, all right, you guys were curious about him. You could now go through our whole archives. We digitized them all for you. You can go through it all. However, there's no way in hell they got everything.
No.
It's not possible. So
It's not possible.
No. What I've heard is there's a lot of stuff that they left out because they didn't feel the need to post every account of a nun seeing a UFO. So they decided to leave that out, and the more important stuff was kept down, locked away in the basement where no one can go.
Of course. Yeah.
So.
How many altar boys?
Oh, so
stuff
many.
like that.
So many. I mean, not to be a dick, but they said the world's biggest porn collection. They didn't specify as to what kind. So.
Yeah, they didn't. They just said largest porn collection. Yeah. So they didn't. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not saying I'm against God or anything like that. I'm not. I'm against the church. because a lot of what they do is shady.
Exactly. See, I think there's like, yeah, if you want to follow the Bible, you should be able to follow the Bible and still, if you believe in all this, go to heaven. Now, when the church comes around, they you go and pray there. And that was the other thing with the COVID thing. It was just, COVID stopped you from going to church, which is what the devil wanted. But I guess we'll do a COVID episode on that. But because all those stupid lockdowns, I kind of lost my train of thought on that. But where am I going with that? What was I saying?
Lockdowns, COVID, church.
Before that. Fuck.
Amen.
Yeah, but anyway, the whole them being so powerful, I mean, it's like a money, but it's almost a money grab on top of it. Like you don't want to be corrupt by money. You're supposed to live in like he did in poverty. The Pope agrees to live in like poverty, right? He doesn't get a bunch of cash. He just gets what he needs, and then the fancy shit so he looks all right. But you see these freaking churches, the guy's leaving in his Cadillac, his Lincoln, and nice house and everything else. And then I remember being a kid, say you didn't donate to the church in a while, you get freaking like harassed in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you didn't. These people didn't give us money recently, and you know what I mean. Like, it's turned into like this. The church itself has lost its way. It's no longer about being this upstanding person to be able to get into heaven. It's like just corrupt powerhouse that wants to take in as much money and revenue as it can, not have to worry about paying taxes or anything on top of it, and then scare you into giving them more money, right? Oh, you're not going to go to heaven. You pass the tray around. If you believe in that stuff, you shouldn't have to go to church and do all that. You should just be able to, solo yourself, pray, do your thing at home, and you should still be allowed to get where you want to be.
Yeah. That's kind of where my mom landed on the whole thing eventually. She said, well, now I see you don't have to go down to some old building and pray with a bunch of people. You could just do it at your own house, and it's the same thing.
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be.
But they don't want you to think that.
I still, from time to time, go to church because we found a church we liked, and it's a Christian church. It's not like very strict where like they hate certain people or anything like that. It's not like that at all. There's people of like all kinds that go there, and it's more of a sense of community. Like they don't ask you for money or anything like that. They just want you to like, hey man, just if you want, come hang out with us on Sunday. No big deal.
Yes, that's how it should be. But I feel like it's got too big. It's too powerful. It's corrupt.
Yeah, I mean, you go to Catholic church, it's like night and day. There, it feels like a cult. Like you gotta stand up, sit down, kneel. It's fucking awful.
And if you wear two different threads, you're going to hell. It makes no sense.
So dumb. But yeah, Again, I'm not against God or religion of any kind. Whatever makes you feel better at the end of the day, whatever you want to believe in, go for it. But don't demand my money and don't shove it down my throat.
Shove what?
Exactly.
Jesus.
Exactly. No, but yeah, that's something else I feel is hidden in the Vatican archives is the secret ingredient to Ovaltine.
Could be.
Because
what makes it so nutritious, dude?
Yeah, I mean, because they could post the ingredients on the side of the can all day, but there's something else in there that
something
makes
secret.
It so magical.
It's like the most nutritious thing you could drink.
Exactly.
And I ended up being like you. Dude, I went out before this recording. I was like, you know what? Let me wake up Let me get a little bit more energy in me. Let me get some Ovaltine. I opened the fridge. I was out of milk. And then when you text me saying you were ready, I was like, "Did you have dinner yet?" And you said no, or you said no, I'm good. I was like, I literally just put my shoes on. I was gonna go get a gallon of milk, but then I was like, you know what? I need to sit down because something's gonna happen, and we're not gonna be able to record again. Let me just get in there, and let us record. And I hopped in here, and I'm doing this for you without Ovaltine.
Oh.
So, I know it's been a long. It's rough. It's rough.
All for withdrawals.
A little bit. I'm getting the shakes here, but that reminds me of the guy I just saw today on 37. He was riding his bike drunkardly from the liquor store with a 24-pack of Miller High Life down the side of 37 all over the place, trying to get back home, I guess. Sad time.
I mean, it was Miller High Life, the champagne of beer, so it's not all bad.
Sure, I guess you could say that. Now, I could probably be like that for Ovaltine. I could see me want a case of fucking Ovaltine down the side of the road. But Ovaltine's great. And if you guys are listening to this, I guess probably most of you guys are going to be listening to this, I guess, Saturday morning. We're recording, this is Friday night. Tomorrow night, Josh and I, the Conspiracy Kitchen, will be packing up our pots and pans, and we're going to be heading over to the Grumbling Grunts podcast to be, I guess, guest stars, right?
Celebrity chefs, if you will.
Celebrity chefs, if you will. Yes, exactly. Thank you. On their podcast. So, I'm going to post on X later on after we record this and I upload that this episode's uploaded, and then I'm going to post a link to their X page. Give them, I guess, a follow on Spotify as well. They only broadcast on Spotify. As you know, we now go to Apple Podcast, YouTube, and Amazon Music besides Spotify. Spotify is our probably, if someone was to ask me where they should listen to and it didn't matter where, I would say Spotify. But then YouTube is going to be getting some different stuff soon. We're still working on that. I know I keep saying soon, but we're still working on how we're going to get that, the logistics of it, if you will. But I'll be posting, so go over there and give them a follow on Spotify themselves. And then when they upload, whenever, I'm not sure how long they take to edit their stuff. But once their episode's live, I will then, again, post that episode on our X. And you can head on over to the Grumbling Grunts and give them a listen. We'll be on there. Celebrity chef, like Josh said, will be, I guess, baking up some nonsense. It'll be more like our intro episode. We'll be shooting the shit with them, seeing the differences between the U.S. and the U.K. when it comes to different nonsense things going on in our world, because everything's bullshit and corrupt and a conspiracy anyway. So we'll be over there. I think we're gonna have a good time, Josh.
I'm very excited.
Me too. And I'm going to have to ask them the main question I have in my mind right now. I'm going to ask them at some point in the episode, why the fuck do they call apartments flats? That's what I got to ask. Because it makes no sense to me. Yeah. It's a compartment in a building that you live in. Your living quarters are a compartment compared to the rest of the building. So it's an apartment complex, an apartment. It's not flat. Nothing's flat about it. So I'm going to ask them that during the recording tomorrow, which will be probably tonight for you, because most of you are, again, like I said, are probably listening to Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. Or maybe you listen to it Monday on your commute to work and the episode's already recorded, which you probably get a lot of too. Yeah, so we got that going on. And then we got to still figure out the logistics for that YouTube. How are we going to, I'm trying to figure out how we're going to do it.
We'll figure it out. I know my wife has been looking into some stuff with that, so she's going to try and help us out.
Yes. And then we have something else coming around, I guess, too. I don't want to get too much in detail with that. But yeah, we have exciting things coming down the line. I know we keep growing a little, every day we grow a little bit more, don't we, Josh? We get a little bit more views than the day before. We have more countries joining. I think Canada's on the list now. You know, you fucking maple tree hugging fucks. They're listening to us now. What?
All right.
We already made fun of Canada in our episode for the Mary Celeste.
It's true. They can't build a boat worth of shit, but they can sure listen to a podcast.
Yeah, so they're listening to us now, and if this is your first time listening, listen to our other podcasts. We like to do murder mysteries, conspiracies, cryptids, because we got the cryptid killer here with us. So obviously we're gonna do cryptids, aliens, you name it. We got it going on. Give us a follow here if you're listening on Spotify, or subscription if you're here on YouTube. YouTube for some reason is odd. Spotify here, we're great with follower retention. No one unfollows us, and they listen, but they follow. YouTube's kind of weird. They listen. We have like 70% average episode listen. Like they'll say through it, but they don't subscribe. I'm not sure why. So I'll have to look into that. But we're like more. We have more like. What's the word I'm looking for? Exposure to people on YouTube. Like we get more views. People see us more on there, but Spotify, we get the retention. I'm not sure. That's all kinds of weird, crazy crap we got to look at with the analytics. Maybe it'll be more retention once we get videos going on there, because I mean, you are on YouTube and you're just seeing a picture for the podcast. I'm not sure, but I'm looking to that. But yeah, please rate us, follow, subscribe. Check us out on the socials. We got X, Conspira Kitchen. We got Instagram, Conspiracy Kitchen Podcast. I think we're gonna make a TikTok to get on that, because I've been told that that's like the best place for exposure. So let us know if you want to think we should make a TikTok. You can comment on X, Spotify, or Instagram. And yeah, so I guess we'll be getting ready preparing to be on the Grumble and Grunts tomorrow.
Yeah. Also, follow me on Feet Finder. I'm kidding. I don't have that yet.
He doesn't have it yet. Yeah, it's true.
Huh?
I searched. I mean,
What?
but
You get a free subscription. Don't worry.
thanks, man.
Yeah. And as always, if you guys, you want a free month of Hulu, go to our link tree, follow the link, watch some American Dad, watch The Orville.
The Orville, dude.
It's the only shows we say, but it's the only shows we watch. So
You can go on there, Family Guy on Hulu. But yeah, go. I'm gonna say it, The Orville, because we want as many views as we can for The Orville, because we want them to then make season 4, which I've been dying to see.
yes.
Dying to see it.
Yeah.
And I think it's in the make. They said something about, I don't know, they said something about January something, but then I haven't heard anything if they're actually still producing it or doing it or whatever it is. But yeah, our link tree is in our X, right there at the top. Click on that. You can listen to our podcast right on our link tree. I have that set up, and then we have links to all the other stuff we have, plus that Hulu. We'll give you 30 days on us.
Yes. And as always, drink your Ovaltine. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, just drink it.
That's all he's got.
It's delicious.
Just drink it.
Yeah.
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine, guys.
And till next time, amen. I don't know.
See you guys.
Bye.